This is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1951 action, adventure, pirate, swashbuckler, Captain Horatio Hornblower.
For what we're about to receive, may we all be truly thankful.
Hey, well, thank you. That's a lot to live up to. That's a lot of praise. I hope I'm able to deliver here. I'm reviewing every movie that has 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I am giving them all a score of 1 to 10. After I watch them and score them all, I will rank them from worst to best. This movie has 100% fresh rating from the critics and a 75% fresh rating from the audience. It stars Gregory Peck as Captain Horatio Hornblower, Virginia Mayo as Lady Barbara Weasley, Robert Beatty as Lieutenant William Bush, and Alex Mango as El Supremo. So this movie is just chocked full of action. It is chocked full of big boat explosions. It has pretty amazing acting in it. I would say Gregory Peck is perfect as the lead role here, where he plays a commander of a ship who is both firm but fair. His men at some times fear him, but most of the time they respect him as a person who really knows what he's doing, who really knows how to navigate the sea, who always has the right idea about everything, really. And I would say it's just a really good action movie. It is probably one of the best swashbucklers I've seen so far. So when this movie starts, we are introduced to Gregory Peck and his crew. They are traveling to Central America, but I don't believe his crew actually knows like where they're going or what the mission is. He kind of keeps it a secret in the beginning of the movie. Now, a lot of his men are dying because of disease, because they've been on this boat for a very long time, and they don't, I mean, I believe they're starting to run out of food. A lot of them, like I said, are starting to get sick, and the men are really concerned that they're never actually going to get to their destination. They don't have any wind that's helping them sail the seas. It's really calm, and they're just really concerned about actually getting to where they're supposed to be. Now, Captain Horatio Hornblower tries to ease their concerns by saying, like, don't worry, I know exactly what I'm doing. We're going to be getting wind really soon. We're going to get to our destination. It's basically going to be a fort on a hill. We're going to get there tomorrow. The wind's going to blow us in the right direction. Some of the men don't believe this. Some of them do believe it.
Identified by a fortress on a hill overlooking a large bay.
A fortress. Wind before morning. Sheet's going to his head.
Well, I think he knows more than he's saying.
And then I believe it's like the very next day, exactly what he said would happen happens. There's like a gust of wind that helps them get to helps them on their journey. They end up finding this fort on a hill, and so what the fort is basically is they're in Central America, and this is the fort of El Supremo, who is the leader of this group that is supposed to help Captain Horatio Hornblower and his men. They're going to provide them with rations, with food, with everything they need to resupply the ship, and he is going to be supplying them with guns and ammunition to help in their fight against Napoleon. Now, this El Supremo guy, he is very cocky. He's very into himself. He himself has a bit of like a Napoleon syndrome, where he thinks he is bigger and better than he actually is. He insists that people greet him as, in a prestigious way. He demands I think it's a 23 gun salute, when other kings only want a 21 cannon salute. He wants a 23 cannon salute. So he basically is someone who loves being in power, and he loves loving himself, essentially. So he ends up getting the guns, and Captain Horatio Hornblower and his men get the rations, but then El Supremo says there is a Spanish ship that's on its way. It's a very powerful ship, and it's going to try to destroy their fort, and they need Captain Horatio Hornblower to help with this. Now, this ship is much bigger than Hornblower's ship, but he has the thinking mind to where he can outsmart other ships and take them down with ease. So he ends up attacking the Spanish ship, and he does end up taking it. And I mean, his ship gets destroyed quite a bit as well.
Blast her as she goes by, Mr. Gerard.
Aye, sir. Port battery ready.
And it actually amazed me in this movie because I mean, I've seen movies like this before, but usually the other ship doesn't take the main ship of the main character doesn't take so much damage that you're like, wow, how is he even going to sail that ship? It takes so much damage. I was actually surprised that they were able to get it back up to working order as quickly as they did. So they end up taking over the ship. He takes the crew as basically as I don't want to say hostages, but he just takes the crew and takes them down in like the ship's cellar, and then he hands the ship over to El Supremo and his men because El Supremo demands that he get the ship. So they get that ship, and then Hornblower is ready to set sail on his ship. So Hornblower leaves the area, and he leaves the area, and he is met by a Spanish ship. Now, he allows the crew of this ship to board because they wanted a parley. They wanted to talk to Hornblower, so they parley. And this Spanish ship captain says that while Hornblower and his men were traveling all this way a couple months ago, they switched sides, and now they're fighting against Napoleon, so they are actually allies with Hornblower. He says, I want to let you know this because there's a big ship coming in from Spain, and I wouldn't want you guys to run into that ship because it's big and it's mighty, and you're going to have quite a problem, and it's gonna look really bad because we're allies now. So whatever you do, don't destroy that ship, right? And then Captain Horatio Hornblower says, you know what, we came across the ship and we commandeered it and we gave it to El Supremo. Oops. So Hornblower decides that he needs to get this ship back from El Supremo, so he turns around and El Supremo's ready for him. He knows that a fight is coming to him because he knows that he basically lied to Hornblower to get the ship. So they end up fighting each other. There's a very interesting dichotomy on each of these ships here because on Hornblower's ship, his men, they trust him, they admire him, they believe in him, and the orders that he gives they follow to a T, and they do it passionately, and they do it without question. Now on the other side of the coin with El Supremo, they fear El Supremo, but they don't really seem to like him very much. They definitely don't have any respect for him. They don't have any, essentially we see this later when Captain Hornblower, his ship gets kind of destroyed a little bit, and he gets caught under some rubble, and his men rush to get him out of this rubble so that he can help lead them in this battle. And then when El Supremo gets caught in the rubble, they basically just leave him to die. So Hornblower is successful. He's able to take the ship. Now, when the Spanish ship came over to parley, there was a woman on board named Lady Barbara Wesley, who who wants free passage back to where they're going. So Hornblower reluctantly says, okay, well, we'll take you with us. Now, while she's on the ship, she ends up coming down with what her maid believes is yellow fever, which is a big deal because yellow fever, if someone apparently gets it, then everyone on the ship will get it and everyone will basically die.
Senor Capitan! Senor Capitan! It is the fever! The fever!
Makes sense, girl.
Milady, she has the yellow fever from Panama. We will all die. Oh, I have seen how it strikes down all cities.
Sentry, keep her quiet. Allow nobody aft of here without my orders.
So everyone was afraid to be in the same room as Barbara, except for Captain Horatio Hornblower, who sat by her side the entire time. She was sick. He didn't sleep for like 3 days. And he basically said that after reading some medical books that this is either yellow fever or it's swamp fever, which is actually malaria. Now, as luck would have it, it ended up being swamp fever, and Barbara ended up being able to she was nursed back to full health. And when she comes back at full health and she realizes that it was Hornblower who sat by her side, she kind of falls in love with him. One day she admits to him that she loves him, and she's hoping that he will reciprocate that love, but he says he's sorry, but he's married. So there's nothing he can do about it because he can't pursue a relationship with her because he's married.
I don't want this voyage to end.
Barbara.
How much longer are we going to pretend? You must know I love you. Why do you fight against it?
I'm married, Lady Barbara.
So they end up getting back. They go back to where they're from. He goes to meet his wife, and when he gets to his house, he's told that his wife unfortunately passed away a little before he got there. She passed away during childbirth, and now he has a son. After he realizes he has a son, he is called back into duty. Apparently there are 4 French ships that have a blockade going on, and he needs to go in there and figure it out. Now, Barbara, she is engaged, and the person she is engaged to is actually leading this trip that Hornblower is going on. They get into a bit of an argument as to what the strategy should be. Hornblower ends up deciding to he sees these 4 ships blockading this harbor, and he decides to go in and destroy them. So he goes in and he destroys these 4 ships. It's a very awesome scene of just destructions of boats, utter destructions of boats. He ends up losing his ship too, and his men end up getting out and swimming to shore, where he is caught, and as well as William Bush and another gentleman are caught. Him and William Bush are basically sentenced to, they believe they'll be sentenced to death.
Men, our squadron should be here before nightfall. That means you'll be free. Mr. Bush, you and I are to be taken to Paris and tried as pirates.
Well, I expected to lose my legs, sir, but not all the way up to the neck.
On the way to being sentenced, they basically are able to escape, and after they escape, they commandeer another boat, and they're able to get back home. Well, they're basically held as heroes. That's the entire movie. There's a lot of plot here. I'm not usually very good with countries going to war with each other and trying to remember who is allied with what country and who's working with who. So hopefully I was able to get that plot out without too much being wrong. So what did I think about this movie? I thought this movie was great, to be perfectly honest. The action is absolutely amazing. The destruction of boats are fantastic. There's just destruction everywhere. It's everywhere you turn. There's wood flying around somewhere, and cannons going off, and it's really spectacular what they were able to do with these explosions and this destruction. Gregory Peck was also incredibly good in this movie, but he's basically great in everything he's in. There's not a whole lot more to say about him. He's just fantastic. I will say that after he got home and he saw that his wife was killed, or his wife passed away, and then he had a son. Everything after that, except the destruction of those 4 boats, I just thought it was I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna. It had to go into that act at the end. I know it was to set up the fact that that Barbara's fiance is going to pass away, so now he's going to be able to be with Barbara because both of their significant others are going to be gone. It just kind of seemed like it ran long to me, like it wasn't needed at all. I thought it was very well done up until that point. There was just enough action, there was just enough story, there was just enough dialogue, and then after that, I don't know, I don't want to say I lost interest, but I definitely felt like it was running long after that. But besides that, the cinematography is fantastic. Considering this is 1951, they really do some excellent special effects in this movie. It is quite good. All the side actors, all the Robert Beatty, who was played as William Bush, Alex. I think it's Mango, who played El Supremo. They all did a fantastic job. The acting is really good in this movie. It's incredibly believable. The costumes are fantastic. Everything is really good, except the fact that I thought it ran a little bit long. Besides that, I thought it was a very well done movie that I think everyone should see. As far as action movie goes, it's action packed, and it's up there. It's up there with some of the better swashbucklers I've seen. I think it's better than Captain Blood, which I raved about. I thought Captain Blood was amazing. Now this movie is much later than Captain Blood was, so they have more as far as special effects goes, and what they're able to do more of. But yeah, I thought it was great. Thought it was a really good movie. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. For my next movie, this is going to be the final movie that I need to catch up on of movies that came onto the list late. It's going to be Sancho the Bailiff. So I hope you join me for that movie, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.